The most common question I have about these videos is, what is the hard pan? How deep is the hard pan? Well, the hard pan is a non-permeable soil. That means nothing will go down through it. It could be 6 inches deep. It could be 24 inches deep. It really depends on where you live. So you have to dig down below that hard pan for these systems to work properly. Here's a great video for the DIY solving a drainage problem for under $10. And we're going to find out if it works. We're going to test it when we're done. But this is called vertical drainage. And I want you to see this because this could change everything as far as yard drains and French drains.
Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. You know, I came across a bunch of videos from the Netherlands, and these videos are about vertical drainage. In other words, it's not horizontal, where we run French drains and yard drains, things like that, but this goes straight down in the ground. Very economical, budget friendly. Take a look. What we're going to do is dig some holes and see if it actually works. We've got to get down below the hard pan, so it depends on how deep your hard pan is, but 24 inches is about the right depth. So take a look.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off a section of sod. Use your shovel, cut off a square section about 9 square inches. Pop this out just like a plug and set it over on your tarp. We're going to put that back when we're done. Next, we're going to use the post hole diggers. Remember, we got to get down about at least 24 inches. Your hard pan might be deeper than that. It could be 36 or even 48 inches. So you got to get down below that hard pan. So I saw a bunch of videos from a channel in Finland, and they were using what's called vertical drainage. Although they did not show the results, it looked like an interesting project. So using your post hole diggers, dig down at least 24 inches or to your hard pan.
So a 22-inch hole or 24-inch hole, some fabric, just push it down in. Then we're going to put some gravel in there. You see that gravel right up to grade. Go ahead and fold your fabric back over, stuff it down in, put your sod back on. Vertical drainage. Will it work?
So we're going to cut a couple more holes here. The same thing, use your shovel, cut off a 9 by 9 square inch piece of sod, set it over on your plastic. Go ahead and use those post hole diggers, dig out that hole. Here's another section. So I'm going to put 3 small holes in here and fill them up with gravel just like we did with the first one. And we're going to test this system to see if it works. Pour that gravel in. Remember, we got to fold that fabric over the top, set the sod back on, push it down in place. The final hole, I'm just going to pour gravel and no fabric at all. I'm just going to pour it in there to see what happens with that. The water still should move down into the hard pan or below the hard pan and be carried away. Put your sod back on and we're ready to test this system. Let's see what it does. Will it work? Vertical drainage. Okay, so after a rainfall, I know it's hard to see in the video. I'm zooming it in so you can actually see it, but it really did remove the water. And it was a pretty good rainfall, so that area flooded and that water disappeared, as you can see. There's still a little bit of puddling, but I think that will disappear within an hour and it will be all gone. So, for $10, vertical drainage. If you have no place to send your rainwater and your puddles, this will work. And it is a great way to remove standing water in your yard. It is much different than the French drain or the yard drain and catch basins. This is vertical drainage. You got to get down below the hard pan to make it work. Okay, that was the first project that I tried. Let's take a look at another one. Here's an area of the yard, and it's a low spot. Solve that same After a big rainfall, you can see that it holds water. What can we do to fix this? Well, we could just fill it in and push the water someplace else, or we could put in French drains and catch basins. Very expensive. But what can we do for just a few dollars to fix this problem?
Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Let's build what's called a soakaway. A soakaway is used to drain an area that's a low spot in your yard or your garden that just holds water all the time. This little milk crate is going to solve the problem. Take a look. So using our milk crate as our guide, this is the area that floods. We're going to cut the sod off, just trace around it. We're just going to cut this sod off real quick.
So go ahead and cut that sod best you can. Set it over on your tarp. Next, we're going to go ahead and dig down about 24 inches. We've got to get down into that hard pan. I've been doing a lot of research, watching a lot of videos from around the world, and in places like Europe, Australia, New Zealand, this is very common practice. Although they don't show the results of the soakaway, it looks like a great project for the do-it-yourselfer, and we're going to put this to the test today. The soakaway is used in places where you cannot send your water to the street. Some people call it a dry well, but it really is more of a soakaway because it's going to soak that water from the low spot down through the gravel into the hard pan below. Depending on the size of your low spot, you could use several of these milk crates, putting them together. The real secret is you've got to get down to the hard pan, give that water a place to go through the gravel, and get down through the hard pan. In this example, I'm just using one milk crate. You could put several of these together depending on the size of your low spot. So dig a square hole down as deep as you can. Try to get down to that hard pan.
Make sure it fits. Oh yeah. Now we're going to put fabric around that, fill it with gravel.
Surround your milk crate with a geotextile fabric. This can be any type of landscape fabric. It doesn't have to be this fancy double punch stuff. It just needs to be able to keep that debris from coming into your gravel.
Pour our gravel in.
So go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think, or if you have any better ideas. Let's get all this up here for vertical drainage. I think this is a new way to go without spending so much money on that French drain. The soakaway works best in a low spot in your yard or in a garden that stays wet and soggy.
And then fold the fabric back over the top. Now use just a little bit of soil to help cover that. Then we'll put that sod back on.
Put enough dirt on top of this so that you can get your sod to grow back on top of this area. So put your sod back, and then we're just going to step it down in place. Just use your body weight, step on it, and we're ready to let it rain. And then finally, haul this old soil away. Remember, this soil wasn't any good.
So we just had a pretty good rainfall, and it's a little squishy. Can you see that? But it really did take all that water. That's just kind of like a sponge in the sod. Soakaways, they work pretty good.
These vertical drains for under $10 can solve these problems versus a French drain or a sump pump to try to remove that water. They work so well, especially if you cannot send that water out to the street. In this third
Hey,
example,
good
I'm
morning.
using
Chuck here
culvert
with Apple
pipe
Drains.
and a
I've been
grate to
experimenting
bring the
with
water into
vertical
our system.
drainage using milk crates as soakaways and catch basins connecting to that, and it's working pretty good. But today we're going to try another test. Take a look. Tell me what you think. So the other day I was at Lowe's and I found a piece of 12-inch culvert pipe that was just laying there, and then I saw that they had this catch basin grate on sale for $5. And look at that, it fits perfectly inside there. This is a great experiment for our vertical drainage. Let's go ahead and dig this area out, fill it with gravel, and let it rain, see what it does. So here's the area that floods. You can see it's about, 2 inches deep by 6 or 8 feet wide. Pretty good area that really just holds water for days and days. If you have an area that holds water and you can't put a drain in out to the street, a French drain or catch basins or a sump pump, vertical drainage may be the answer. Let's take a look at this and see how cost effective and easy it is to do. So the first thing we need to do is dig a hole that's large enough to put that culvert pipe down in. That culvert pipe's about 18 inches deep, so we'll go about 24 inches deep. You can also use the post hole diggers. They work really well to dig down through hard soil. In fact, they may work better than the shovel. It's best to put your dirt into the wheelbarrow. That way it's easy to haul away. You could lay it out on plastic, but we're putting in the barrel and just haul away when we're done. Now that we have our hole dug, we can take an old piece of geofabric and just stretch it across the hole. Then we take our culvert pipe. Now remember, we went ahead and perforated that culvert. We drilled holes all the way around so that water could escape as it rains. Next, pour some gravel around the outside of your drain. This will allow the water to escape through the holes we drilled into the ground and be carried away. Vertical drainage. This is much more cost effective than putting in a French drain or catch basins. Vertical drainage allows that water to go down into the ground and soak away. As I researched all these videos from Finland, I noticed that what they're really doing is they're transferring the flood that's on top of the ground down underground. By giving it a chamber with lots of gravel, they're transferring that flood down underground. This allows the water to be soaked up by the subsurface soil. But the real question is, does it work? Now, I've made a couple of videos showing how it works on a smaller area. This is a fairly large flood, so let's see what this really does after a good rainfall. We'll find out. Like I said, this is a really cost-effective way to remove water. All of those videos I watched from Finland and other places, they didn't show results. So watch to the end to see the results. Okay, got our gravel poured around the outside. It's all encased in the fabric. Remember, we perforated the culvert pipe, drilled holes in it. Go ahead and tuck your fabric in. You can see how I tucked it around the sides there. Then we're going to put our sod. My sod's not very strong, so I kind of have to piece it together to put it around there. But that's not a problem. It's still going to grow back around that area without any worries at all. So we piece it together, push it down in, make it tight. We're ready to test the system. Okay, we're ready for it to rain. See how well this vertical drain works. So we just had a pretty good rainfall. I'm going to try to zoom in here so you can kind of see it. But yeah, it's still a little bit spongy. As you can see that water bit right there. It's still a little bit holding water, but that's going to disappear pretty quick. Vertical drainage. This is a project that you can easily do yourself and truly save a great deal of money.
Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.